coral, volcanoes, and people living off the sea. Fiji is the biggest of the island nations of the South Pacific. Hi, Karoy.
Hi,
thank you for coming. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Good. So you're our observer here in Fiji. Now, the Pacific region is the part of the world that is the most directly threatened by climate change. What are some of the threats?
One of the threats that we've observed over the years is increase in ocean temperature, which means rise in sea level. And this directly affects coastal villages. A lot of Pacific Island countries, as you know, is just 5 meters above sea level, so it does pose us a direct threat. Similarly, in increase in ocean temperature, there is acidification, and when there is acidification, it leads to coral bleaching, and coral dies. In that case, there's less fish available along the coastal areas.
We go down to take a look.
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
How are you?
Sam Tonge has lived in this village all his life.
There have been huge changes since I was a kid, to do with sea levels. Nowadays, the waves go all the way back in there. They wash away the land.
Karoy is part of a program that's training young people in the Pacific to document climate change and its effect on humans like Sam.
By the time we built this seawall, it was too late, because by then the water had washed out all the land behind us.
He's learning to use his smartphone as a tool.
So we're currently in Navakapu village, and we're just doing some tour around, and with the village headman here, who's been showing us the impacts of climate change.
Sam wants to show us what's been happening to the village's fishing grounds. Coral is an ecosystem that provides shelter and food for starfish, sea cucumbers, and the fish the village depends on. Warming sea temperatures are causing the little creatures that build the coral to expel the algae that gives coral its color, causing bleaching and eventually death.
Live coral has brown pigment on the stem, then toward the tips, the coral polyps are white. Dead coral is completely brown, from the stem all the way to the tip. This branch, when it breaks, it grows into another plant.
Sam says that many of the fish he remembers from his childhood have disappeared.
Back then, we relied on our ancestors' knowledge, on the traditional calendar. But now the weather has gone crazy. Sometimes it rains during the height of summer. As far as I'm concerned, climate change is caused by human beings trying to be God. They're trying to be as smart as God.
Do you know anything about what countries are responsible for climate change?
People say climate change, but I don't even know what climate change means.
Karoy is part of a program called ePop, bringing together young people from 6 different Pacific nations.
Next semester, we'll be doing TV documentary.
Telstar comes from Vanuatu, 1,200 kilometers west of Fiji. She has personal reasons for joining the program.
We live on one of the smallest islands in Vanuatu. Right up in the north, we get most of our food from the sea. Yeah. So fishing is very common, picking up shellfish and octopus and stuff. Oh yeah, octopus catching is famous.
Karoy is going out for the day on a scientific research boat to get a closer look at the coral.
An ePopper always his cell phone on his hand.
Yeah, except that I have only one phone, so if the water gets on it, it's...
Yeah, right.
The team is taking a local chief along, so he can talk directly to the scientists on board the boat.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye. See you soon, maybe.
Back on shore, Telstar tells me more.
My family was living right along the coastline, but then there was a big storm. All the houses were destroyed, so they had to build totally new ones further inland.
Do they miss the sea? Has it changed their relationship?
Yes, they do. The sea has always been a part of my family's life. We cook with seawater, we get our seafood there, and we also bathe in the sea, so it's been a big part of our life.
What about the burial site?
The burial site is still near the sea, but now my grandfather has told me that in recent years the sea level has risen and it's encroaching much closer to the burial site.
Telstar is going to meet another woman who might also have to move.
Hi, Lavinia.
Hello, hello. Hello.
This is Telstar from Vanuatu.
Lavinia raised 5 children in this house. When she moved here with her husband, the garden was 25 meters longer.
See all these coconut trees trunks there. As soon as we got married, we started planting coconut trees, trying to protect our beachfront.
So how many rows of coconut trees?
We had 5 rows of coconut trees.
And they're all gone?
All gone.
And what are those 3 things over there?
Those are our graves, the cemetery. It was a family cemetery, and now it's all out in the ocean, all swimming out there.
And who's buried there?
Our ancestors, our great-great-grandfathers. Mr. James Dunn.
James Dunn.
Yeah, and then his grandfather, Charles Magoon, and his uncle, Jack Gall.
When the wind blows and the tide is high, Lavinia's garden is often swamped.
Well, the water comes right through to the hand of the house, and it comes right here. The water was reached up to the step level.
Telstar is interviewing Lavinia because she wants scientists who study climate change to know more about the people who are experiencing its effects. She asks about her children and grandchildren.
What about your homes? Do you think you'll be relocated from here?
No, I was just telling my children, I think we'll have to move away from here. We'd love just to stay close by the sea and see what happens.
So do you think that moving away from here to a new location, will it change the way you live?
I think so, because here, everything here is free. We're free, it's free. We don't have to pay for anything. If we want to have a fish, we just go out to the sea and catch fish or throw our line and catch fish for our daily living and things. And if we happen to move out, it'll cost us money. Here, we don't pay electricity, we don't pay water, everything is free.
The sea, it reminds me of how it is back home. We live very close to the sea. We like to look out the window and see the sea and the waves. Going back inland, relocating inland was very hard for us. Yeah. I think preserving the nature is just as important as preserving your houses.
Yeah.
So if you were to relocate, it's important to replant these trees.
Trees again, yeah.
So when your brother-in-law asked you to move, what did you tell him?
I know, I just told him, John, I'd rather die.
So you didn't want to move?
No, it's but to be able to be here for that long and just to move out. Every afternoon, my husband and I would just sit on the porch. It's so peaceful to be here.
I love it here. I hope you never have to move.
Yeah.
Koroi has been paired with Nilam for the training. Today they're visiting a slum that's built alongside a sewage pipe. They interview the local pastor, and then it's back to base for editing. Nilam is from New Zealand.
Why are you so popular?
I'm not popular.
What is too popular for us? I have to work on this video on my own.
The ePoppers are based at the University of the South Pacific for the week. They're learning to edit what they filmed. The project is designed to give young people the skills they need to document climate change and how it's impacting the communities they live in. The hope is that human experience can give an extra dimension to the research done by scientists. Dr. Antoine Niert is a marine biologist, a specialist in seagrasses. Koroi tells him about his visit to the research boat.
We went to the tourist ship on Monday, and this is what we filmed from there. And almost every 2 hours they go out into the reef to collect coral samples. So we went on to Navakavu village yesterday with Sam, the village headman, and he was taking us around the village, and he was showing us these part of the village which was affected by the wave.
So what were the main issues that they complained about?
He told me that they don't have any knowledge at all about what climate change is and what are the causes of climate change, but they do know the impacts. You're a marine biologist and a hard scientist. Do you take into account the human experiences?
We have to conduct workshops at a simple level, explain to them scientific facts very basically to them.
How about information coming from the villages of the population to the scientists? Is there a mechanism for that?
Yes, of course. It's a two-way process. Ecosystem-based management is very much part of teaching and research. We're trying to bring the message that we are part of the ecosystem. We are just another species on this planet. And whatever we do will affect every other species and eventually come back to us.
Do all of your colleagues feel the same way?
Well, we would hope so, but it, of course, depends on the discipline we're talking about.
Dr. Niert is convinced, but it's up to these young people to bring around the rest of the scientific community and the rest of the world.